This video is intended to describe I am mato, which is the archetypal name of this device, which translates to Mother Bear in the Lakota tongue with the I am concept in front of that. So I am mato is the name of this highly exotic variant of a tried and true transmutation platform, of rather exotic diversification. I'll be utilizing my crude chakra map that's been well dilapidated from over-explaining too many things, which I obviously need to redraft when I have the moment. So starting off with the blade banding of this whole closed loop circuit is the foundational energy scaffolding of such an exotic device comprised of many high-frequency variables. But most importantly for this description is this is the foundation for the entirety of all their stones discussed in the entirety of this description video. Starting off with the transmutation blade band, primary blade band seen right here is the lovely hematite. Hematite is an iron-based stone that rapidly grounds all excess energy through the root chakra into the earth stars, then into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. Then to subcapacitate that frequency is smoky quartz. Smoky quartz works in tandem lovely with hematite due to the fact that, just like etheric compost, takes all radial stray energies, makes a very strong grounding point at the root, and then into the earth stars, then into the Mother Earth for reprocessing. So this team together has been quite the successful frequency ignition, if you would, that consists of the transmutation by constantly grounding all this energy into the earth for two-way reprocessing. So, like I've discussed many times, you think of it as etheric Teflon, where no negativity internally, externally can really stick to the field because it's being rapidly discharged so quickly. So that scaffolding of the transmutation ratio goes all the way like so to this lateral band right here and connects up the side right here to this lateral band seen right here, recirculating right here to create a figure 8 with this apex band actually being pyrite and smoky quartz opposed to hematite. Pyrite is another iron-based mineral, just like hematite, that also has a very yang, masculine solar plexus stimulation to direct energy, which makes a very advantageous grounded projection of such a high-frequency yield for the purpose of the practitioner to assist those under her jurisdiction. So that will be the primary blade banding. I'll go ahead and get into the blade face. First things first is a very large piece of rutilated quartz. Rutilated quartz is titanium oxide actually in a quartz structure, which makes a very intensive supercharged yield. So naturally, clear quartz by itself is a fantastic neutral amplifier of energy or invocations of consciousness, or intentions if you would. Then the threads of rutile in the system is kind of like a supercharged intensive acceleration of any energy that runs through it. So this large, oversized piece almost for the size of the talisman was actually very warranted to give it a very powerful sizzle, flash charge intensification for the entire grounded algorithm. On top of the related quartz, terminated directly to it to produce a direct acceleration of these two frequencies, is the lovely master healer star argonite. Star argonite is an amazing calcium-based light body stimulant. So you can think of it stimulating the entire chakra column in tandem in a very rapid yet very gentle way, with the calcium being very powerful for dismantling any energy patterns that would basically be impeding the full healthy light body functionality from the bottom to top. Tremendous master healer, so putting it through the super acceleration through this entire construct. Also, as a preface, obviously all these frequencies discussed are on one common primary wire, which means they're all pinging off each other for the total goal of the vibratory output of this device. Just as an obvious preface. Then, next to that rutilated quartz next to the star argonite in direct succession would be blue zincite. Zincite is perhaps the most powerful fire elemental stone in the mineral kingdom. So zincite by itself oftentimes comes in the orange range, has a very dynamic, impactful, explosive activation of the base, sacrum, and solar plexus. So when I say explosive, it could, as another disclaimer, is that all these different frequencies grounding and buffering it will definitely mitigate the over-explosive lower 3 activation. Just In the mineral kingdom, there's not quite a stone that has the same stimulation of the lower three chakras in zincite. And fortuitously, upon acquisition of the zincite, I was actually bestowed this upon by one of my crystal shop colleagues of getting the blue variety, which of course brings the frequency pitch of that intensive fire to the higher fifth chakra, which of course is very inducive towards stimulation of the truth. And let's face it, any aspect of disease is some kind of lack of love and lack of truth of one's I am presence. So that's why this guy is there next to this to supercharge the entire frequency. But like I mentioned, it's on a very grounded scaffolding, so you get the most out of that for the contact patch. As another disclaimer as I go on this description is that this entire frequency algorithm, since it's based on the transmutation chassis, makes a very strong ground contact patch yield to intensify the direction of the energy right into the earth as a preface. That's very important for the success of this device's intention. Okay. And at the very apex of the blade itself, to further give it more sizzle and intensification of light ball activation, is fulgurite. This is actually petrified lightning, of lightning striking sand, maintaining the crystalline structure of the energy of lightning, which is a very, very vibrant, powerful force of nature, as everybody knows. And so having that lightning energy grounded to the frequency also gives the structure of lightning through the entire process, which is a very dramatically potent full light body stimulant, which of course, like the power of lightning, stimulates the entire chakra column in unison. And in First Nation tradition, it was utilized to intensify the prayers of medicine women and shamans, medicine men, to focus their energy to spirit, to creator, and put their prayers back into creation with great intensity. That is a practice thousands of years old for this particular stone in First Nation medicine tradition. So having a little bit of dose of that to this entire structure goes a long way for really intensifying any frequencies through the entire structure from top to bottom. So a very amazing, powerful, full light body stimulant. Then right above that is another master healer in the mineral kingdom, seraphinite. Seraphinite is an amazing green ray stone, obviously heart chakra inducive, yet it is a very powerful full light body I am template activator. So naturally, based on its color designation, the stimulation of the green ray heart chakra is pretty obvious. Then it takes the entire chakra column and clears any kind of impediments through the entire light body as well. Hence, it works perfectly in tandem with star argonite to get the most out of those two pathways in succession. So I've discovered that those two together are quite fantastic for stimulating the same spots and to, of course, mitigate the discomforts of such high yield frequencies as much as possible by extending the elasticity of the emotional body during the transmutation process. So seraphinite is an amazing stone named after the seraphim archangels. And so, of course, puts the frequencies in touch with the seraphim realm of healing, of those divine beings close to source, yet still maintain separation enough to be entities of their own right. It's pretty amazing. And so having that frequency directly imbue the seraphic frequency through the respiratory system of the heart, which of course circulates the entire energy. It basically, of course, etherealizes the blood with high frequency energy and rapidly dismantles any kind of patterns of disease from the system. Hence, its utilization has been quite critical in light tech for a good many moons now. And to further augment that projective aspect of the seraphic energy and to clear any patterns is the lovely infinitite, a relatively lesser known variety of serpentine that comes from South Africa, but is a very amazing decrystallizer of any kind of impediments in light body, as well as being a strong full kundalini stimulant, which of course, when the kundalini is stimulated, is a full light body activation from top to bottom to top. So having those two in tandem is a very lovely way to de-pattern any kind of impediments of the natural functioning field of the light body fully, tangibly manifested on the conscious self. So those two in tandem are quite fantastic. Then to give it a little more boost in the sacrum and solar plexus range with, of course, a more storm overtone is the legendary Libyan gold tektite. stone of ancient Egypt magic school utilization of the ferrocast, and a very powerful stimulant to the sacrum and solar plexus in tandem, being a strong fire stimulant, yet it also has a storm full light body overtone. And a very dramatic intensification of one's intention and will in connection to their divine creator self is the aspect of this guy's prerogative, I guess you could say. But most importantly, gives a very strong strengthening effect of the field of the wielder of this device for the practicing intended with this construct to maintain impeccable strength of will in connection to their divinity. And before I move on further up here, I'll go ahead and get into the selenite on both sides of the blade face itself. So I usually save the selenite aspect for last, yet I will be continuing my way this way, which will take a while in itself. So this is another preface for the entirety of the success of this spirit tool, is having the selenite. Oh, by the way, it's also on a Palo Santo core, which is holy wood from South America. And it smells delicious by itself before the essential oils are even added. It's fantastic. So a very lovely aspect too of this device is the core is set on Palo Santo, literally holy wood. And with the selenites directly terminated to them, so the selenites, of course, are fantastic purification agents from the 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakras back to the Godhead, which is lovely in its own right. It's fantastic for purifying any densities in the field from top to bottom as well. But in a closed loop circuit, where it really shines the most is the trifecta of purifying the entire resonance seen in the closed loop broadcast, and then harmonizing all of them together, then accelerating them. So when you have the trifecta of acceleration, purification, and harmonization of every aforementioned and future mentioned stone in this video thus far, it takes the entire algorithm and gives it a very nice acceleration in that capacity. Alrighty. So moving into the section where the hood will be, oh yes, I might as well do this right now before I describe that. Once this is all said and done, this white leather will be cut appropriate to size and wrapped around right here with this lovely scarab beetle badging right here that's relatively flexible, so actually you can adhere very nicely to the engine section. It's a lovely golden scarab beetle, which of course is a great symbol in ancient Egypt of resurrection and rebirth, which is obviously an aspect of this device's intention prerogative. But the aspect too of the white leather being chosen, it serves as a subtle insulation for all the stones seen here that are in this circuit. So it kind of contains and condenses it. Then also it's the protector of all these subtle stones wrapped together. And perhaps most importantly, it's also a color therapy ray augmentation, third but not last, to indeed produce the full electromagnetic spectrum of these 7 rays of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white. That covers the entire range. So the entire frequency pitch running through this device as it completes its circuit will of course run through the white to have the full emanation diffusion of the electromagnetic spectrum of color. Then moving on to the hood section right here is the lovely black tektite, a product of a nickel iron meteorite impacting sand, catching that extraterrestrial jolt into creation on the earth plane. So in a vibratory induction, it comes in very handy being a black ray ground up cosmic Kundalini stimulant activator to intensify the entire frequency pitch, but most importantly from the black ray from the ground up. So it could be almost considered a transmutation device since it's such a strong black ray Earth star stimulation. But in this regard, it's a little too cosmic and top heavy to be considered a true grounder, so to speak. But very, very useful for the entire algorithm to give it a more of a boost through the entire structure. Then next to that is the lovely shungite. Shungite is a stone in vogue right now due to its notoriety for mitigating EMF 5G wavelengths from affecting the subtle DNA of the body, which of course is a contributing factor to disease by harming the subtle DNA from frequency bandwidths that are not native to our energy system's resonance. So this is a nice little contingency in a very small format that will go a long way for the entire algorithm. Then over here, from my lovely backyard, is serpentine. Just like mentioned with infantile being a highly exotic variety of the serpentine, serpentine is a very powerful kundalini stimulant, cellular respirator for the entire energy body. And also having the Mount Shasta connotation gives it a dramatic boost of that frequency as well. Then next to that, another stone from a place of power is red rock sandstone from Sedona, Arizona. Sedona, Arizona has a fantastic iron-based full matrix that's very effective for rapidly grounding energy very nicely through the whole area, so a little piece of that goes a long way as well. Then next to that, getting some oceanic energy involved, this is actually ocean tumbled calcite. So for millennia, perhaps thousands of years, Mother Ocean has been tumbling this calcite to perfection. So that purification of tumbling and polishing the stone has come from the ocean for millennia. That obviously maintains an energy charge of origin. Hence, it's also a white calcite, which is, like I mentioned, the full 7 rays diffused in a clearing energy pattern. So having the clearing capacity of Mother Ocean in a calcite format is very advantageous for the goal of this device as well. Then right here is the lovely Tibetan black quartz. Tibetan black quartz obviously comes from Tibet and is not well known to be a spiritual hub of great amount of magical practice for thousands of years by a very devoted caste of monks, reaching the Om I Am template frequency for thousands of years. And this, so of course, that impact of concentration of that much spiritual work into the gland there has definitely left a mark as well. And Tibetan black quartz oftentimes is clear with what they assume is black carbon inclusions, yet apparently science can't quite quantify exactly what the black is in these stones, which gives it a nice, fun, magical mystery fact. So Tibetan black quartz is a very amazing two-way full light body activator as well. Tibetan black quartz rapidly grounds through the root very quickly in a very powerful grounding of high frequency Om energy, almost like a non-force field would be the way to put it, where that emanation of the Om is so powerful that it has a difficult time with weaker frequencies in its structure. Hence, with the entire frequency over pitch, it gets the theme. Yet, Tibetan black quartz also dramatically opens the soul star, third eye crown to higher ranges of energy. Think of Yggdrasil. The full aspect of the higher energy open up, then of course the roots down below, as so above, as so below, is very appropriate for this stone. So even like that placement right there on the primary is very effective for the entire frequency pitch. And above that on both sides is a lovely specimens of obsidian that are of the mahogany range. Mahogany obsidian is a fantastic base chakra clear, but also where mahogany obsidian really shines too is its dramatic capacity to really transmute and purify any deficiencies, energies of the sacrum chakra, which is a very strong imprintation receptive chakra, which people, of course, have many stored traumas that affect their creativity and their circulation, is the sacrum. So these guys really, really impeccably clear the sacrum chakra from any kind of old residues of past wounds or core wounds that basically manifest as physical ailments, in tandem with everything else discussed thus far. And above that is moss from the highest point of Mount Shasta. I actually was gifted this from a practitioner local here in Mount Shasta who goes to the highest point of the mountain possible just to gather this moss on her spirit hikes. So, upon request of the recipient, luckily, of course, by complete providence, I had the moss from the very top of Mount Shasta on hand in my custody to be incorporated in this device, which is a very high frequency, organic, natural resonance from the top of Mount Shasta. On the back side right here, once again, flipping back, so just like the main blade face rutilated quartz, there is another rutilated quartz up top to once again further super accelerate the entire relay. So by having the intensification acceleration of rutilated quartz here with these critical frequencies adhered to it through its broadcast, then doubling down with another piece of rutilated quartz that goes all the way up to here is another dramatic intensification 2-point relay of this entire frequency pitch being highly supercharged. Then at the very apex right here is the lovely, amazing Golden Healer Quartz. Golden Healer Quartz is an incredible stone from Arkansas found recently in this timeline, thank goodness, that has impeccable gold white light, high heart Christ frequency source resonant bandwidth. So obviously having this as the main engine, actually it's kind of hard to say what the main engine is with this guy, there's so many neutral programmables such as these guys. But the point is having that direct source connection being the primary vibration at the top apex of this device as it completes its circuit is a very impeccable directive of such the I am mato is honored not just in name but in crystalline vibratory archetype for its entire designated output. And also, next to the selenite, to strictly govern the projection into the Earth stars, into the Earth for reprocessing, is the utilization of strictly black kyanite. Black kyanite is always utilized in all transmutation devices, such as a simplistic smaller wand seen right here. Black kyanite is the most effective transference of rapidly grounding energy into the Earth meridian matrix at a very quick rate. So, by having all this overture of energy discussed thus far and giving it strictly a grounding pathway to make a rapid discharge and connection to a process to the Earth meridian matrix, is another way to make this highly intensive frequency exotic variety of a transmutation talisman very functional to ensure that the grounding of this gets the maximum contact patch for more rubber on the road for its little destiny to live happily ever after with the recipient in her service to creation. After that metaphysical mouthful, I believe that would conclude the entirety of this device. So, in summary, like mentioned, it's a highly exotic variety of a tried and true transmutation platform that has been very, very, very successful in its R&D and practical application for many a practitioner in this reality. And then taking that and giving it a tremendously accelerated healing flash, super accelerated concept could be a tremendous healing tool just to have in proximity as a background recipient device to have just as a passive frequency filter for the practitioner's service while they're doing their work. And that would be the entire depth of Ina Mato. 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.